Hi there, let's make some snowflake art today using glue, salt, and watercolors. Today we're going to do snowflake art, and our first step is to draw the design of the snowflake we're actually going to do. So for purposes of you being able to see this, I used a light colored sheet of construction paper, and you can use a pencil, but I'm going to use a Sharpie marker just so you're able to see it a little easier. And you can pick to do one or more of these on a sheet, but I'll show you what I'm going to start with. We're just going to make a design of a cross, and then we're going to put an X through it, like so. And that's going to be the basic start to my snowflake. Then you're going to add little arrows in on each of the little arms of your snowflake, and you can put as many of those as you like. I do about 3 or 4 for each one usually, and then you're just going to go around each one and add those like so. Now here's where you can do however you want to. You could put some circles on the end of each of these snowflakes. You could put a triangle. You could put a straight line, like such. It's however you like to make your snowflake. So I'm going to go ahead and put some circles on the rest of these. And so we have our basic shape. And you can do, like I said, more than one of these if you want. I'm just going to do one to be able to show you what we're doing. Next, you're going to get your glue and just your white school glue. And you're going to trace what you just drew out. Go easy on the glue step. You want to have enough that it covers what you've done, but you don't want it to be so heavy that it's going to take a long time to dry. So you don't have to have the nozzle completely full open. You kind of want to play around with that a little bit. You might want to add more than I'm doing right now, but you see I'm going pretty light on this. And you're just going to trace over everything you just drew. And if the marker or whatever pencil you've used shows through, that's okay, because we're going to go over it again with the next step. So just take a few minutes and draw these in with the glue. You're going to trace over that. So you've got all of your glue traced out onto your snowflake pattern. And then I moved my sheet of construction paper into just a cookie sheet, a baking sheet with some sides on it. And next you're going to get your salt out. You can either do the shaker like I'm going to do, or you could get a bowl, a small bowl of salt, and just pinch it out with your fingers and sprinkle it over there that way. Doesn't matter how you do it, it's whatever is okay on your end. And then you're just going to cover all the glue that you just put down with salt. And you put a pretty good layer on there. Okay. And then once you have that all covered, you're going to take and shake your paper around, and you'll see where the extra comes in at. And you just kind of make sure that every wet spot of the glue is covered with your salt. And then once it looks good to you, you're going to tap it off on your sheet. And then this is where the patience comes in. You're going to have to let this set for a little while until the glue and the salt dry. Depending on how thick you made your glue, it could take 10 minutes, it could take an hour. It just depends on how heavily you did that. So leave it here, walk away from it, don't touch it, because if you start touching it now to check to see if it's dry yet, you might squish it and ruin your design. So be patient, and then come back in a few minutes, see how you're doing, and then we'll go to our next step. So we let our glue and salt dry onto our snowflake template, and now we're ready to paint. So I have a cup of water here, and I have my tray of watercolors. And you want to make sure that you have water, fairly good amount of water, and mix that in with your paint. And then you're just going to put them along wherever you like on your snowflake. And it's going to absorb into that salt and glue mixture. And you can play around with whatever colors you want with these. It doesn't have to be strictly blue or, you know, purple or what people would consider winter colors. It can be whatever you like. So add a little bit more. And if you don't feel like you have enough water, you can add more back into it. I'm just going to keep adding that in and see how that kind of just melts right into the glue and salt mixture. And you can make these as light or as dark as you want to, but you do want to make sure you have some water mixed in with that so that it will go into the salt and glue on your snowflake template. And if you didn't make it dark enough, like I want my purple to be a little bit darker, I'm just going to go back over it again. Add some more colored paint there. And you just keep going at it until you like how your star looks, or I'm sorry, your snowflake looks. Another way you could do this, if you don't want to use the salt and the watercolor paints, you could do glue and glitter. If you have glitter at home, you could trace out your star or your snowflake, or whatever shape if you wanted to make something different than a snowflake. And you could shake your colored glitter over the top of that and make a whole different design that way as well. So just keep going until you like how your snowflake looks. Okay, here's some final examples. I did a couple different ones for you. The one on the bottom, the yellow paper, I did not wait as long for my glue to dry, and it seems that it's a little bit lighter, more of a pastel kind of color in some of it. The one on the top on the dark blue sheet, I let dry for a lot longer, and the colors seem to absorb and become a lot darker on that. On this one over here, I just left part of it unpainted, so I had the white stand out against the color there. So you really can do it however you want to, you can play around with it. If by chance you wouldn't have watercolor paints available, if you had an adult to help you, you could probably do some food coloring, dilute them in water. Food coloring, like when you dye eggs at Easter time, you can use those kind of colors as well. You could use, instead of a paintbrush, you might use a Q-tip, or if you had a little dropper type of a device, or pipette they call them, sometimes you could use those as well. So just play around with it a little bit, see what you like, And I hope you have fun with it.